Hi guys, I just want to talk a little bit about patterns in Taekwondo, especially, um, and how I feel they should be done, and probably generally agree with most of what other instructors would say. But over the time of my training in martial arts, um, I've had many different views on what patterns performance should be, and what you're actually showing while you're performing patterns, and what benefit that they have to you. What a pattern actually is an example of an ideal situation where you're fully aware of what's coming towards you, what's attacking you, and you're fully able then to respond in a way that you can instantly move into the right position to be able to block, to be able to strike, and to make impact at the right place at the right time. It's in a solo practice for many reasons. Patterns were created at a time when people didn't have much writing skills and or even reading skills, and patterns are a way of transferring knowledge about how to do certain things in certain situations, so that people could transfer that information onto more people without having to write things down as such. They're also a great way of having an individual way of performing your martial art, practicing skills and techniques that you um, would otherwise have to do with a partner, which is also very important. But you can use the individual training skill of the that's given to you through pattern practice to help develop the muscle memory that you may need to practice with a partner later on. And then, without the two of them coming together, then one does not really work without the other. So when you look at a pattern and you see it as parts of ideal situations, and what it is parts of fights. So you can take them into separate sections, and so some people like to look at the whole pattern as being part of one fight. Um, but when you look at the situation in a fight, you should not always be fully switched on. You should be able to change your demeanor. What I like to say to my students when they're going to start doing a pattern is, you come from being a relaxed um, individual person who's got no problems in the world, and next thing somebody comes up to start a fight with you, and you change instantly, and you become a different person. You become somebody that's aware, but also not over consumed with what's happening. So you empty the space here in your head to be able to accept the situations that are being thrown towards you, so that you're able to accept anybody's attack, that you're able to then receive that, know that it's happening, and then acknowledge it by coming out with a block or a response, an attack, counter attack that you see fit, and that response happens really quickly. The more relaxed you are, the faster it happens. And what pattern practice does for me is it helps me create that response in myself. That we try to be. We know that what's coming next because we've learned the pattern. We should not just be repeating the pattern from our perspective. We should be repeating the pattern in our head from the other person's perspective as well. So that, just because we do a block as such, we should not just see that we're doing the block in the air. We should see that we're doing a block to somebody's attack. And what that attack is can be many different things, maybe what happens in the pattern might change due to how you view what an attack is. And that's a good thing, because then from one form, from one pattern, then you could have multiple different views of what could actually be happening and what actually you have a response for. So when you have an imagination of an aggressor, an imagined image, an imagined attacker, and you keep that person fixed in your mind and different people could be in that situation as well, fixed in your mind as you're going through that pattern, then you should put the effort and show the effort in your facial expressions, because a big part of fighting is how you project yourself. If you project yourself in a weak way, or a meek way, or a disengaging way, then people will feel that they're winning the situation. If you project yourself in a confident way, determined way, and showing that you're willing to keep going and you're not going to back down until you succeed, then you will get the message across to somebody a lot faster, and they will back off in general before any situation gets into a really bad level of hurt. So you practice that in your patterns. Now there's other ways of practicing it too. I'm not saying it's the only way. You have more than enough different ways, to practice this kind of stuff. But just in traditional martial arts, classical martial arts, this is part of what they do with that, and this is what it is. What I like to see it as would be like moving meditation. So when you meditate, you stop. You may sit normally in different positions, whichever. Different cultures have different ways, but meditation is just basically contemplation. So what I see martial arts classical patterns are a form of moving meditation, where you are being open-minded and completely aware at the same time, and being willing to accept whatever is put in front of you, and then responding to that, as opposed to having a preconceived idea. What you will get to the stage of when you know the pattern to a high enough level, that you can remember it, and your body just does it subconsciously, then it will feel like you've just responded to an attack, that you haven't actually put the empty thought into what you were doing. What you move on from that then is you should be able to do 2-man drills and multiple people drills, where you respond to whatever is put towards you, and it doesn't have to be preconceived in any way, and you're not phased by that at all. So I do think you need to have some form of maybe compartmentalized situations where you know exactly what's going to happen preset, and then you also need to bring it on then so that you can have practice in total randomness, because then when you can respond to something in total randomness, you've actually been able to master the idea of what your martial art is trying to teach you, which is how to fight and defend yourself in as efficient way as possible. Another thing I feel, part of what the patterns do for you in this regard is that they show you where to relax and tense and be active at the right time in parts of aggressive situations. The reason why some patterns don't go into a full-on all-out assault throughout a form is to show that fighting can have a flurry of attacking. You see somebody could attack you and you block strike, and then you decide to pull back or to stop, because you've seen that your attack has already created a response that you wanted, where the person has backed off, or you've caused some injury to them to make them reconsider their situation, and then you can pass on to the next person or come back into a relaxed state, because that's basically what martial arts is about. It's about being able to turn from being a calm person to being an assertive person, and being able to assert your control in the situation, and then returning back into calmness again, being able to turn that switch on and off. The rest of it, then, you have things in the pattern that may be hard for some people and easy for other people, and those things can be different for different people depending on their physiology. And some people say to me and come into patterns and they're saying, oh my god, I could never do this, that technique is impossible. And maybe so for them. There are techniques in the patterns in Taekwondo that are quite difficult for me to do. There's some things that were easier for me to do when I was younger, and now they're difficult, and the other way around even now. There's just some parts of the patterns where I was not able to do them when I was younger, and I can do them pretty well now. And this is the challenge that pattern training gives you. It gives you the sense of of accomplishment once you've achieved this difficult thing that you found so hard at one point. So they're part of personal challenges. So to take pattern training into a single sentence, I like to see them as being moving meditation. And when you have that kind of idea in them, then you don't have to over analyze them, but use them. The other parts of the patterns, like where you have exactness of stances, and you have coming back to the same spot, and a lot of times in the patterns, these are all things that help you develop your mind and give you challenges that you have to overcome. If you're doing a pattern and you're not coming back to the same spot every time, then you have to, and you're supposed to, then you have to ask yourself why. And then you can go back and you can reassess all your stances and your movements and how you're making them, and seek help and assistance in that. It causes you to learn how to problem solve. It causes you to learn how to achieve something that you were not able to do at one point. I find it's not the only way to do this again, but if you take on those challenges and you make those changes in yourself, that you go and you seek information, you realize that you have a problem first of all, and then you go and seek the information that you need to fix the problem. They are massive skills that will change you within, as well as changing you without, which is part of how martial arts forges the body and the mind. It's through personal challenges that you find from trying to overcome parts of your martial arts training, that then you can bring back into your everyday life. Which is for me is part of which is one of the best things in martial arts. That you're training your body, which then goes and trains your mind, and then from that mind training and that body training, it lifts your spirit. It makes you feel better about yourself, and then because you feel better about yourself and you get that lift in spirit, you're going to come back down again. You're going to go back and train the body again to train the mind, to lift the spirit, and back. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant concept that I think in martial arts doesn't get really looked into as much, and it's something that I gently try to encourage in the training that we do in Rebel Martial Arts. So thanks for listening, guys. Leave some comments, share a video, whichever you want, and people are always welcome to get on to me on Facebook, Rebel Martial Arts Cork, Rebel Martial Arts Studio. You'll find us easy enough. Paul O'Leary Instructor is another one of my pages, and thanks very much for listening.